See Mustafa, hello. I hope you're doing it. Hello, Natalie. How are you? Mustafa and Natalie, I think you need this special, appellation. You are more than faithful to this channel. I hope you are doing well, and I hope everything is fine, and that you have fasted these first 4 days, in the best circumstances possible. الأستاذ اعتماد أهلا وسهلا أستاذ اعتماد شنقو. How are you? I hope you're doing well. قصص من عالم النساء. Hello. I hope you are doing well. I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you very much for making it, and I hope you'll continue to benefit from the this holy month, at least health-wise, because yeah, there is the spiritual side, but there is also the health side. So if the two are combined, then that's a very good thing, and it's one of the goals of Ramadan. So it's really an opportunity to purify the soul, and also to detoxify the body, especially the liver and the kidneys. So yeah, one of the messages is that after fasting, one should not indulge in so much food, in a variety of food, especially the ones that are based on sugars. And this is something that specialists say are not good. So what I'm saying, it comes from what I hear around, and I'm sure you heard that as well. So thank you, Hassan Nahi. Hello, Professor. Hello, Steve Hassan. Mifi. Hello, Mifi. Ramadan Kareem. Thank you very much. Si Muhammad Azraq. Hello. I hope you are doing well, my friend. I hope everyone is doing well here. LKM, good evening. Mohammed Bouknifi, good evening. لا والله سي محمد اليوم اليوم مازال البارح you were the third, the fourth, but no. Okay. Hello, Azdin. How are you? I hope you are doing well. Azdin, I think he's my brother. I have a brother by this name, but I don't know if. Well, anyway. um, Okay. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us here. Thank you, Bouali Hasna. Good evening. Good evening, Hasna. Can I, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, this is also a request for you to take the initiative to probably share the link to this live session. Perhaps that was, perhaps that's the least you can, that's the least, well, that's something you can do, that's a generosity on your part. So if you could do that, I will be more than grateful. And I see 14 people watching, but 5 likes. Okay, that's not really good. That's not commensurable. That's the technical word to use here. Anyway, Wali Hasna, good evening. Thank you very much. See Mohammed Bouknifi, he says he was watching the champ. Oh, okay. I don't know. I'm not much into football unless this has to do with the Moroccan team. Then, without any, hesitation, you go, I go, and I reserve the first seat. If it's in a cafe, if it's at home, then I am sure I am on time. That's the feeling of nationalism, the feeling of being a Moroccan. You see, yeah, but otherwise, I'm not really into, leaks, and I don't know. I hear the news to the left and to the right, but in any case, there is no time for all these things. But it's a good thing when you have your favorite team and you follow, its progress and its victories, but also its failures. All right, Asma Il Baqali, good evening, Asma. Thank you for joining. Ikram, good evening. Good evening, Ikram. Si Mohamed Bouissan, Dr. Si Mohamed Bouissan, hello. I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much. Siham Rahali, hello. I hope you're doing well. And Azdin says, yes, I am. He turns out to be the brother I talked to you about. So thank you very much, Azdin, for joining us here. I would like you to take the initiative, out of generosity. You are known for being generous with this. So share the link in the groups that you have and on your pages, if that's possible. I don't think it's something that you can be shy about, you see. I don't think so, unless this is the case. In that case, then that's your freedom as well. Never mind, I will share this first on WhatsApp and then on the groups, in the groups, waiting for, we are 17 here. We have 17 people here watching. So news feed. So this is shared on your academic companion. Voila. I will see if I can share it in some of the groups. Uh, okay, your groups. Some of the groups here are this one, this one, this one, where Si Morshid also publishes my my videos. Thank you, Si Mustafa, for being such a wonderful supporter, as well as the other friends, of course, especially the ones who know of the live session and they make provisions for it and they reserve time for it. And those also who participate and who ask questions actively and you see who go out with at least one idea that circulates here. This is very good, you know, if you go out just with one word, with one expression, with one idea in terms of the content. We are discussing issues relating to linguistics, applied linguistics. We are expressing, you know, ideas relating to, you know, statistics, the statistics that people might need for research. And we have exchanges in the form of questions and answers. I think this is something that this is a good habit. I mean, for the people who are eager to learn, who have this intellectual curiosity to learn more, not just about English, but also about you know about these areas that I have had occasion, that I have had cause to mention. So I will share this on LinkedIn as well, just in hopes of having the link reach more people. Okay, I will not say a word about it, just a post like this. Where else? Okay, I probably need, well, yeah, I will do it this way on Instagram as well. This is the first time I publish this on Instagram because I know that you can paste a link on the story of Instagram, so I can do it this way. And then we will start, right? But you need a picture here. All right. Let me screenshot this. Okay, screenshot this. Okay, screenshot this. Fine. 23 people. If there are questions that we can answer here or we can react to, so I will just do this and then we will start. You know, if there are no questions, then we can just start our discussion of the that's in response to some of my S4 students who have kindly requested, you know, a session on this, and it's a pleasure to be responsive to their requests. You know, especially the group I have a very nice group of very nice people and very hardworking. More than that, very motivated. This is really, really interesting. It's good to, you know, the best gift a professor can have is to have a group of students, not who know, no, but who are motivated to know and who are willing to learn probably from their mistakes, because learning, you know, is mostly or mostly takes place by, you see, by making mistakes. That's natural. But at the same time, by looking for opportunities to solve those problems, those how learning, c'est la pédagogie de l'erreur. You know, this is well, so it's trial, failure, but there will come a time when the trial will not be seconded with failure. Anyway, let me read the okay, let me read some of the comments here, and then I will go straight to the point, unless there is a question ahead of time that we can probably discuss and you know, and elaborate on. Sibuknifi, hello. Well, many thanks for everything. Also, this is for the gratitude. Thank you. LKM, good evening. Buali Hasna, good evening. I think I think I responded to these up to C. Mohammed Aitazart. Good evening, C. Mohammed. I hope you are doing well. Kamal's Creative Corner. Good evening. Moulouk. Good evening, Professor. Good evening, Moulouk. Nathalie Leblanc. Your knowledge and genuine care for students are remarkable. Thank you so much, Nathalie. Thank you for putting it this way. This is really, really motivating, and Thank you also for having this courage of always, inserting these comments, because I have this feeling, it's weird, but I have this feeling that some people don't want to place a comment here because they are afraid they will be noticed and maybe people will, will make a comment on them. I don't know, but I think I have this feeling of detecting this, but it's fine. It's anyway. It's to each his own, as the proverb goes. To each his own. Write it down, please, if you don't know this proverb, this expression. To each his own. À chacun sa façon de voir les choses. Okay, nice. Lella Malika is writing. Good evening, Professor. Good evening, Lella Malika. Thank you very much. Kamal's Creative Corner. I'm really so lucky to be a student of one of the greatest professors. Oh, thank you. That's too much for me, si Kamal. No. Thank you, but thank you very much. It's really, really, encouraging. Si Ashraf Bihman says, "B'sahar raha, Ustad, thank you for the insights you've been sharing. We need syntax and advanced grammar videos as well." Yes, 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 for sure. That's in the plan. That's the planning, inshallah. Yeah, I will open up for syntax, and I also plan. I have a stock of titles there here on this doomsday book, this wonderful book, copybook. I mean, I write down, and there are drafts for videos on brain anatomy. I don't know if you will find it interesting, but this will certainly interest students who are interested in the field of psycholinguistics and neurolinguistics. So this is something that has been my interest for a long period. Anatomy in general has been my interest. This brain anatomy has also been, an area I am interested in. I don't claim to know everything for the simple reason that I'm not a specialist, but I have been keen on learning items relating to the complex anatomy of the brain, especially the microscopic anatomy. We will come to this through some of the videos, inshallah, and then we will see how these things can link to language and linguistic knowledge and and also speech disorders. All right. Thank you, Si Ashraf. So that's a promise from me. Nathalie Leblanc, could you please explain the different types of sampling? Yeah, there are different types of sampling techniques. There is first probability sampling and non-probability sampling. These are the major areas. I think there is a video that explains these differences in terms of for sampling. I think I will share it just in case some of our friends have not seen it. Okay, so but there is this probability, non-probability, and under non-probability sampling, there are other versions, but when you random sample, that's the key. That's the key when you do random sampling by controlling the variables, controlling the regions from which your participants come from. This is really interesting. Okay, your data will have a high level of reliability, a high level of validity. That's what a researcher has to look for. Anyway, this will lead me, Nathalie Leblanc, instead of answering you directly with all the details here, I will edit, because now I am starting to get some insight into editing despite the so many mistakes, but we are learning, as I keep telling you. So I will edit the video and try to upload it again so that it will benefit our friends here who are in the process of conducting their research. Thank you, Natalie, for this very important, because that's going to take us somehow far afield, and that is likely to maybe to take a lot of time in this regard. But I find the idea so brilliant. I find the request so brilliant, and I promise that maybe in the next few days I will see how I can edit that video, that interesting video where I mention everything about sampling, and then I will just upload it. Thank you very much, Ikram Zrewi. Thank you, dear professor, for all that you do. Thank you so much, Ikram, for this recognition. You are welcome. Asma Al-Baqili, will the live session be recorded and available on your YouTube channel afterwards? Yes, but we would like you, Asma. Asma Al-Baqili, who happens to be my student, by the way. I just learned this morning. Yeah, it will be there. So if you want to watch it, then what you can do is go back to the rubric called or entitled live, and then you will watch all the live sessions there. I will do my best. I'll try to cut this beginning so that you will go straight to the point. I will cut it. I will start from the main point. I promise I will do this, and I will be doing it for the other live sessions so that when you revisit it again, you will not be lost in these words of appreciation to you, and these greetings that may take we have spent up to 15 minutes here, but we have done so in hopes of having more people with us. It turns out that only 20 people here are watching. I don't know what is happening. Is it the Champions League or is it the kitchen? I don't know. Never mind. So, yes, Asma, it will be there. Thank you for joining us. Ashraf Bihman, knowledge is is an ongoing journey. Thank you that you have said it in a very nice way. So everything from your part will definitely be of interest to me, just as everything on your part also from you will be a benefit to me, because this does not, there are high chances for me to learn. You might be asking a question that I cannot answer, and that will trigger me into probably going and looking for the answer to the question. There are things I assume I know, but oftentimes, or sometimes at least, it turns out that I don't know, and the process is ongoing. Whoever we are lifetime learners. The moment we say that we have learned everything and we are experts and we have to stop learning, then that's the beginning to a journey of ignorance, because there is a process in second language acquisition called backsliding. You backslide means that you reach a level and then you stop because you think you are there. You have reached your desired point, and then you backslide. Okay, this is nice. All right. Yasin Awiltit, is it related to the places responsible for speech production and comprehension? Mr. Yasin, this we will just go over the details of speech production, unless there is a question about that. So because we discussed phonetics before, but if there is a request for me to talk about consonants and their production, especially places of articulation, voicing, and manner of articulation, I can do that without any problem. But today, what we are going to do is concentrate on the discipline in linguistics known as phonology, and how it departs or how it can be distinguished from phonetics. And we will go into discussing concepts related to the science of phonology and its goals and what it does. And then we will move on to the discussion of phoneme and how it can be discovered, and what configurations do phonemes assume in different languages. And that has to do with the notion of an allophone. So we'll be invoking concepts like complementary distribution and mutual exclusion, or sounds that occur in a mutually exclusive environment. And we will also touch on the notion of free variation. Time permitting, we will also delve into a little discussion on distinctive features in response to the request I have received from my S4 students in a private message on Facebook. Okay, my friends. Okay, yeah. No, we will discuss. That's my intention. Okay, I have not recorded any video so far, but that's my intention. I mean, it's mostly geared towards understanding how speech is processed and what areas are responsible in the brain. But before that, without touching on language, we will be talking about the parts of the brain and the neurons and their structure. And so it's just an exploration of a journey into neurolinguistics. So we'll start the neuro part and then the linguistics part. Hopefully it will be interesting. This will be interesting not just for the people who will take psycholinguistics, because in psycholinguistics there are other issues. This is just one part, but it's just for general knowledge. I don't know if you have this interest in also in general knowledge, and it's not a waste of time if you listen to the video and at least get something about, or just wonder how the brain is structured. And this is a journey also for me. I will not hide it for you. This is a learning opportunity for me. People think that that when you make a video, it's just of course, in my case, most of my videos have been spontaneous, but there are videos that require me to check the relevant information. You see? So this is okay. I take it also as a learning opportunity, and hopefully we'll find it of enough interest. Okay. Thank you. So Mifi, yes, please says, I don't know why she says yes, please. Is it for this anatomy thing that I'm talking about? Inshallah. Marwa Marabti, good evening, Professor. Thank you so much for the insightful live sessions. Thank you very much, Marwa, for these words. Thank you. The whole video is interesting, including the discussion. Yes, Natalie, some if I were in the shoes of an S4, S5, S6, or master students, I would come to follow just the flow of the discussion. If I find one expression that is used in this discussion that I don't know, it's a plus for me. Okay. If I find just an idea I did not know before, I may go and check it. And when I find out that this is the right idea, I just take it, and I have gained a good part of it, of course, a good portion of knowledge here. Thank you. I meet place regarding anatomy of the brain. Yes, we will talk about that, inshallah. Yasin Razouq, especially psycholinguistics professor. Okay, inshallah, we will cover these things. It's just that we need to order the priorities. I am often responsive for these live sessions. I am often responsive to the requests I receive in the inbox. See, Mustafa, more videos on SLA research and theories are needed, inshallah, especially that there will be there are students who intend to apply for the position of a teacher, and that exam, is generally consists of questions relating to how languages are learned and are taught. So we will be doing that. We need a session on world English. Maybe I will cede the mic to you one day, Si Mustafa, so that you can accompany me in this journey. That will be good, and we will discuss this together. I will find a way of including you here. That's a very good idea, by the way. I would love to listen to you talking about native speakerism and world Englishes. All right. By the way, native speakerism is now a pejorative term. It's somehow derogatory because it's critical of the idea that the native speaker is the uncrowned king of linguistics, as is assumed in a number of theories, number of claims about language. Sorry. All right. Bismillah. Can we start? So I will cut probably these 22 minutes so that we will have space for those of you who will come back to the video, unless you want me to keep this. But at the end, we will have a vote and we will see. All right. Good. Ladies and gentlemen, let's start with a discussion. I don't know if my S4 students are listening to me or they have gone into their kitchens, into the kitchens, I'm just joking when I say this. This is just one way of making fun. I hope that's not... Okay, because I see that the number is somehow decreasing. Please, let people know that we are cutting to the heart of the topic. All right. Natalie says, keep it. Yeah, I will keep it just in case people would like to revisit this. I don't know, but we will have a vote towards the end, all right? And see, or I will have this on my Facebook page. I will have some sort of a poll, and I will go with the majority. Okay, can we start? Ladies and gentlemen, can we start? I did not prepare anything for this live session, so we'll probably proceed the way the majority of textbooks proceed when they introduce phonology. What is phonology in the first place? I think that this discussion was started. You are welcome, see Yasin. I'm glad you are from an institution that is so dear to me, and where there are professors who are my friends and whom I respect a lot. So this is really nice, see Yasin. Thank you. Okay. Hello, Saeed Rafi. Hello, see Saeed. How are you? You are a little bit late today, Mr. Saeed. We miss you. So thank you for making it to this live. Ladies and gentlemen, we will start. As I told you, we had occasion to discuss the difference between phonetics and phonology, and suddenly, to our dismay, to our disappointment, the live session stopped abruptly, in indication that we have to leave. Anyway, let me start over again. Now we have this discipline in linguistics. We have a number of disciplines, of course. So one of the disciplines that represents, a good portion of linguistics is the one known as phonetics. What is phonetics? Phonetics is a branch of linguistics that studies human speech sounds. Human speech sounds. So let's talk about the notion of speech sound. What is a speech sound? In order to talk about the speech sound, we have to know what a sound is. What is the difference between a sound and a speech sound? So a sound is anything that can be heard is a sound. Okay, if I clap my hands here, I have produced a sound. If I cough, that's also a sound. Okay, good. So that's a sound. Now, what is a speech sound? A speech sound, I am saying this to my S4 students because there might be a general question in the form of a paragraph about the definition of a speech sound. So you have to be aware of it. So a speech sound are or is any sound that we use to produce a language, to produce a word, to communicate, to speak, the natural language that we speak, like the one like what I'm doing now. So I'm doing now. I have doing has the sound d. D, is it a sound? Yes, it is. Is it a speech sound? Is it a speech sound? Yes, it is. Why? Because I can use d to produce a word like do, I'm doing, like door, like need, etc. So speech sounds are those sounds that human beings can produce as part of words in their, in the course of communication. So we produce speech sounds. A clap, a clap of the hand, or what's that? It's a clap of the hand is not a speech sound. It is a sound, but not a speech sound. A cough, when you cough like this, that's a sound, but is it a speech sound? No, it's not a speech sound. Okay, good. So you just need to know what a speech sound is first. Okay, so the job of phonetics is to study these speech sounds. Okay, but you can tell me that phonology, phonology, you know how to write it. I'm sorry, I've had that from here. Phonology is also concerned with speech sound. As you can see, both phonetics and phonology are concerned with the study of speech sounds. After all, in phonetics, you have the word fun, and in phonology, you have the word fun. That's the root, meaning sound. That's why you have the phone, the telephone, etc. You see, Arabophone, Francophone, this is phone, which means that there is a sound. So both, both phonology and phonetics are concerned with speech sounds. We will forget phonology for some time and we will focus on phonetics. So, by the way, if you have a research question, if you have a question, on the day of the exam, asking you to write a paragraph about the difference between phonology and phonetics, number one, if you are asked to write a paragraph, then it should be a paragraph, by the way. ما تمشيوش غلطين الله يجزيكم بخير. See, when you are asked to write a paragraph, don't. So imagine that this is the paper, and the professor asks you to write a paragraph. الأستاذة زينب إيناس, مرحبا مرحبا. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, really. And I apologize to the other comments, to the people who wrote, to the friends who pasted comments. I will come back to them anyway. So let me go back to the point. So when the professor or teacher asks you to produce a paragraph where you distinguish phonetics and phonology, okay? Of course, there are two jobs that you have to do. Number one, to produce the content, to answer the question, to say, for example, what the difference is between phonetics and phonology, which we are going to discuss here anyway. Job number two, or task number two, you need to think up a good organization of your paragraph. You definitely need a topic sentence here. If it ends here, you have to put a full stop and you continue, etc. So this should be your topic sentence. You see, this should be your topic sentence. A paragraph without a topic sentence is not really a successful paragraph. Therefore, you have to worry about the form as well. So the form is necessary. The language is necessary. I will hold a live session very soon because there was a friend from Benamsik University, from Benamsik faculty who is an S4 and who showed some, a considerable amount of interest in what we are doing. And he made the polite request that we talk about sentence structure. And I promise I will reserve a live session for this. And it's a good idea for our all the S's, in fact, and anyone who is interested to somehow hone his knowledge of writing can join that live session because we'll be talking about the different sentence types. You have those sentence types. You can be the corrector of yourself. If you find out that there is a sentence that is neither this nor this nor this, I mean the three, none of the three, it means that there is something wrong with that. Okay, so I close the bracket and I come back here. So phonetics and phonology are both concerned with the study of speech sounds, but they study them differently, in different ways. They study speech sounds in different ways. Remember, they're taking different approaches, to the study of speech sounds. Now, for phonetics, phonetics is concerned with the description and classification of sounds. Let's talk about that. Phonetics describes and classifies speech sounds. So here you forget about phonology. Phonetics here is interested in speech sounds. What does it do? It classifies and it describes. Look at how I write describes. Describes. Okay, describes like this, like describes. All right. So classifies and describes. Describes meaning what? Classifies meaning what? See, description, to describe a speech sound, meaning you try to produce 3 words to describe a consonant or a vowel, and this is something we did before. For example, for a consonant, you have to talk about the voicing, whether it's voiced or voiceless, place of articulation, where in the mouth, has the articulation taken place, and the distance between the active articulator and the passive articulator. If you don't understand one of the terms I am using, please type it here in the comment space so that I can, for example, if you don't know what a passive articulator is and active articulator, then we can talk about these things without problems. So phonetics, as Natalie rightly says, it consists of voicing, place of articulation, and manner of articulation. For example, we are doing phonetics when we say of the sound k, that it is voiceless, velar, stop. We have done this description. We have described it. Classification of the sound means that different sounds belong to different categories. For example, when we talk about fricatives, that's a classification of sound. You cannot say that f does not belong to the class of fricatives. It does. When I say stops, t is a stop because there is a blockage of air. Also, there is what we refer to as a natural class, but probably natural class is best explained as a term in phonology rather than in phonetics. Okay, so this is the job of phonetics. More than that, phonetics, yes, it studies speech sounds, but it studies these speech sounds in isolation from any language. It studies them as entities, as they are. As long as it's a sound that a human being can produce, it is worth studying, it is worth describing. Phonetics will never make claim about individual languages. In phonetics, we will never hear something like it's t is pronounced as ch in Moroccan, in Moroccan Arabic, especially by the young. You see, it's not concerned with this. That's the job of phonology, and we're coming to that. So phonetics studies the physical properties of a speech sound. The phonetics does not describe the functional, aspect, the function of a speech sound, whether it's a phoneme or not, and whether it's contrastive or not. We're coming to these things later on, but just understand that, that speech sounds speech sounds are, well, right, sorry. Yeah, that phonetics deals with speech sounds, as physical entities, regardless of where they come from, regardless of whether they are from French or from English or from Amazigh or from any other language. All right. Thank you. Okay. Very good. I think what's that? That's Mrs. Rahali. She has retracted a comment, perhaps because I wanted to react to it. So I would like to welcome her mom with us here. She is also following. That's really nice because I wanted to react to it, to the comment that she has written before. And I wanted to, because I thought that she was your sister. Now you are telling us that you have retracted the message anyway, but I read it. Okay, that she is your mom. She is welcome. And, I say to her, thank you very much for showing interest in what we are doing here. Okay, come back to this, please, ladies and gentlemen. So this is what it does. It classifies and it describes. Before I move to the phonology part, or to the second discipline called phonology, there is something I would like to say about phonetics first. Phonetics inventories and suprasegmental features, that's true, but then for phonetic inventories, phonetic inventory, not phonological inventories, yes. So in phonetics, another job is to say what a human speech sound is and what is not a possible human speech sound. Of course, it studies also suprasegmental features like vowel length, long vowel, short vowel, like stress, like intonation. That's true. That's also the job of phonetics. So it does exactly what phonology does, except that here there is no reference to the function of a given sound, nor is there a reference to individual languages. That's the job of phonology. Okay, before we proceed, I would like to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, this is probably what you have in the textbooks that you are assigned for Introduction to Linguistics. There is this idea, just in case you are asked this question on the day of the exam, but when you are asked to describe or to talk about phonetics, you probably also need to make reference to the fact that there are three branches of phonetics. Phonetics, there are three branches, all right? Okay, the first branch of phonetics, there are branches, okay? Let's call them branches of phonetics. Branches of phonetics. I'm making an arrow here. Branches of phonetics. The first branch, there are three. Within phonetics, there are three, which Said has, had the generosity of writing here. The first one is called articulatory phonetics. Articulatory phonetics. Articulatory PH phonetics. What is articulatory phonetics? Articulatory phonetics is a branch of phonetics. It's much what you do with speech sounds, with vowels and consonants, when you describe the way they are pronounced. For example, when you talk about consonants, talk about voice in place manner. When you talk about vowels, you talk about tongue height and the part of the tongue that is involved, and also lip rounding. So this is the job of articulatory phonetics. But there are two other sub-branches of phonetics. Next one, as Said rightly said, you see, we have articulatory, then we have acoustic phonetics, like this. Acoustic phonetics. What is acoustic phonetics? Acoustic referring to, to the noise as it comes to our ear. That's what acoustic means. So acoustic phonetics means that this branch, of phonetics is interested in the study of the sound waves. So if articulatory phonetics studies speech from here to here, to this part, when the sound is released out of the mouth as it travels on its journey to the ear, that's the job of acoustic phonetics. So it studies usually the sound waves, etc. It's mostly the sound waves. Okay, but this cannot be done by mere observation. We need machines, we need laboratories, etc. All right, fine. So Siham says, by the way, my mother is also watching. Thank you very much, Siham, for inviting your mom to take part with us. And she is writing. She says, "Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Lilla. Thank you. I'm very happy that you have joined us. Really, thanks a lot. It's a pleasure, right? So, acoustic phonetics studies the sound waves, and that's see, Mustafa, because I read the comment, I wanted to react to it. You say, in Morocco, we are concerned with articulate different. We cannot generalize because there are people in different places who have interests in this, sub branch of phonetics. But let's say predominantly, most of the departments, do what we call articulated phonetics. But there are people who are interested in other aspects, and I attended presentations that were so interesting, so fascinating in relation to acoustic phonetics. But predominantly, I agree with you, see, Mustafa. All right. So here we are talking about the part of phonetics that studies the sound waves from the mouth to the ear. Okay, that's acoustic phonetics. Now, there is a third branch. It's called auditory phonetics, auditory phonetics. And auditory phonetics, yeah, أوردي أسماء, hello, أستاذة أسماء. I think you wrote something before. I just, I will come back to your comment in a moment. Let me just finish this point. I will certainly come back to you. I saw that somewhere, but I think you are pasting it again. Thank you very much. So, auditory phonetics. What does auditory phonetics do? What does it study? It studies sounds. Yes, it does. All of these study sounds. But for auditory phonetics, its job is not to study the sound as it is produced within the vocal tract, nor is it interested in studying speech sounds as they travel from the mouth to the ear. See? Auditory phonetics study speech sounds as they enter the ear of the hearer or the listener, and it travels into the different neurons, into the whole network in the brain, and receives an interpretation. That's perception. Thank you, Sisai. Thank you for using this appropriate term. You have what's that? You've hit the nail on the head, as the proverb goes. Okay, so that's auditory phonetics. It studies the perception of a sound from the ear to the brain. As you can see, sounds have a journey. You see, because they are meant to be received, to be understood, to be interpreted. So we have three cycles for a sound. So we have articulatory phonetics, and then between the mouth and the ear, that's acoustic phonetics, and from the ear to the brain, that is auditory phonetics. I have made the decision to talk about this because this is mentioned in most of the textbooks for introduction to linguistics. And more than that, you might be asked this question on the day of the exam, so that you will have enough ideas to produce a paragraph in this regard. Remember, please, that paragraphs have to have the shape of a paragraph. A paragraph that is written haphazardly, a paragraph does not mean that there is an amalgam of sentences, okay, that the teacher has to look for the answer. No. You definitely need topic sentence, supporting information, concrete examples, my friends, especially in linguistics. You cannot produce a paragraph and argue for something without bringing into focus the different arguments, different illustrations, to substantiate your claims. All right, so please take that into account. We will move. Okay. So let's just move. Let me read Asmat's, Asmat's comment, and then we will move to this. And in your case, you can listen to me while I read the comment, or just try to digest what has been said so far. Thank you. So I will read Wardi Asmat's comment. Thank you, Professor Amruz, for your insightful live discussions on research. As a teacher prepared for my master's thesis, I found them incredibly beneficial. Oh, that's a word where she comments on what we are doing here. You are welcome, Asmat. Thank you very much. Just in case you have a question, please paste it. Was it you who, because I did not have time, and I don't have the. Yeah, in fact, I was involved in a number of tasks. Was it you who wrote a comment on YouTube? If it was you, please let me know so I can answer you here. Thank you very much once again, Asma. Thank you. Si Mustafa, yes, he's a professor who recently supervised candidates who work. Yes, yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I know at least two candidates who talk about. Yeah, yeah, Dr. Luardi, did a good job, and there was another one, Munia Johari, who also, did an amazing, produced an amazing piece of work on this. And of course, this we are pinning hopes on, other researchers to follow suit when it comes to the, to exploring issues that are thus far unexplored, and it's very easy. This is an opportunity for a research gap, of course. Okay, yes, all right, thank you. I just wonder whether I have missed any comments in here so I can respond. Okay, good, Mike. We might use good make with Pratt. Oh yes, yes. Said, you are talking about, so Pratt is that data collection instrument, I think, that people use. Perhaps I don't know. Is that what you mean? Okay, because I see that MIC, is it a good mic? Mike, you mean? I don't know. So please explain further so we can understand you. Kemal's Creative Corner, manner of articulation, how the sound is produced in the vocal cavity, that is in the oral cavity, perhaps. We use oral cavity and vocal tract or vocal apparatus. These are the terms. Okay, such as oral nasal stop, very good. Friction, affricate, which is a combination of the two sounds. Thank you. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, so I think we need to proceed. Ahlan Hajar, hello. Hajar has been a bit late, but she has managed to join us. I don't think she missed much, except perhaps for the discussion of what phonetics is. Now, if you have, dear S4 student here, if you have questions about the description of consonants or vowels, you have a specific problem, a specific issue, then you can address it here. You can write a comment so I can react to it on the spot. Otherwise, we can safely move to the phonology part and then delve into the relevant details therein, right? Pratt is a free open source computer software package widely used for speech analysis and synthesis in phonetics. Oh, that's really nice. I did not know about that. And this is proof enough that we are more in articulatory than acoustic. Like, it never occurred to me to produce anything relating to acoustic phonetics. Although I have interests, reading on occasions papers here and there, I usually jump to the conclusions. But thank you very much, Saeed, for the for your generosity with. That's Murshid, that's Mustafa. Sorry, I replied to Mustafa's comment regarding acoustic phonetics and how you can. All right, fine. Yassine, Professor, what is the adjective of sounds produced in the uvula? See, Yassine, they are called uvular sounds, like this. Uvular, like this. Uvular sounds. Of course, they do not exist in English. They exist in other languages. They exist, for example, in Dutch. They exist but in Dutch they are not original sounds. They were transformations of the g sound of the voiced velar fricative. The voiced velar stop. Good night is goede nacht. Okay, it's a h there. So this is what it describes. And the uvula is that little thing that hangs loose in your mouth when you open and look at the mirror. You will find something there that hangs loose. That's called uvula. And sounds that are produced in that region, you see, are called uvular sounds. Okay, thank you for. But we have it also in Moroccan Arabic that corresponds to this sound in Arabic, Moroccan Arabic, Amazigh. We have that. You see, okay, nice. Yes, Professor, what is the adjective? So I replied to you. I was the one who just left you a comment, Professor. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much, Mrs. Asma. Mrs. Asma asked me about the permission if she consults For example, a questionnaire by someone else should she asked the question as to whether she had to ask for permission from the author. Well, generally, when it is for business purposes, of course, you have to do that. But I don't think that's especially if there is no statement. If there is a statement saying that you need permission for this questionnaire, yes, you need permission in the form of an email or whatever. But in case nothing is written there, and that questionnaire has been used by a number of people who did not mention that they got agreement, then you can just go ahead and use it and recognize the author in your methodology. That's the reaction to this. Okay. Yeah. I think I answered you and just left you a comment. I'm also thinking of reaching out for more. مرحبا 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 أسماء. You can use my page. You can send me a message to Messenger on your academic companion, Dr. Amruz. That's a Facebook page. I receive comments. I receive specifically requests. And if there are things that can be answered, in the form of a live session, I will be very pleased to hold a live session for this purpose. But if it's just an immediate problem that needs an immediate reaction, I can just type my my evaluation of the problem and suggestions. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Said says, branch has emerged, combines the methods of sociolinguistics and phonetics called sociophonetics. No, sociophonetics and sociophonology are not recent. They have existed for long. See, they are not recent. Perhaps emphasis has recently shifted back to considering this sociolinguistic variable, but this has existed, for quite some time. See, Saeed, thank you. Hajar says she was listening to she characterized the lecture as being insightful. Thank you very much. Thank you, Hajar. Natalie Leblanc, your academic companion. Natalie has written your academic companion. That's the Facebook page. Thank you very much, Natalie. And I invite those of you who are listening to me here who have not subscribed to the YouTube channel to do so, and subscribe also to the Facebook page, because on occasions there will be content that are Facebook specific. They will be posted on Facebook, and there will be contents that will be posted on YouTube. Thank you. Okay, so I think this is a reaction to and work on speech recognition in world Englishes. Wow, that's really interesting, see Mustafa. And I think you watched that clip where the American president was listening to a guest, I think from Pakistan. I guess was he the president? The Pakistani was expressing himself in English, but nevertheless they needed a translator there, which shows how opaque, you see, variety number one can be in relation to variety number two, English. And I happened to be in another country, in a Gulf country, for a semester, and I was expecting to use Arabic there. But I found out that practically what you have to use is English, for daily purposes. But the type of English is that they can understand you when you talk, but you cannot understand them when they react to you. They produce things. If they write it, yes, you can read it, but when they express themselves like that, it's the other nationalities, not the natives, of course. Yeah. Okay, so because it's people from Pakistan, from India, from Bangladesh, it's good. It's good because they mark their identity and it's intelligible, fine. But it's very difficult to understand when you are someone who comes from another country. All right, good. Thank you. So let's move into the second segment, the second, more important segment of this meeting, which is phonology. Okay? All right. So let me excuse the noise that this emits. All right. You see, it's good. It's better to have this board coming closer to me. It's better than leaving it there. And no, it's good. It's like this. When I bow to right like this, it's not a good thing. Okay, fine. Okay, well, let's start with phonology. But before phonology, there is a sip of water, because I need it. Okay. Phonology. What is phonology? Phonology is a branch of linguistics. Well, phonetics is also a branch of linguistics. Phonology, sonorant. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. We have a question from Siham here, because we need to finish the questions on phonetics and then move to phonology. Siham, you are asking me to talk about sonorant and then instrument. ما سميتهاش instrument يا سيهام. I think you are talking about sonorant versus obstruent. Okay, not not instrument. Prove this. Show me that you have made a mistake there in writing instrument. It's not instrument. It's obstruent. Let me write it here. I think most likely what you mean here is obstruent. Okay, so you have sonorant like this. Sonorant, and then we have obstruent like this, obstruent. An obstruent and a sonorant. Allah yarhamo, whoever he is. Okay. But anyway, there are some, but it's good when you feel that you have learned these terms and you know what they mean. It's like acquiring a new language. Okay, even in French, sometimes I surprise my friends when I translate a word. For example, I say, I use it in French, and they say, "Well, how come that?" People who I have family members, for example, in different countries, French speaking, but. They appreciate they appreciate it when I talk about these terms in French. All right, it's good. You feel that you have acquired something new. All right, never mind. Si Mohammed, that's a very important question, Silzrak. I will answer Siham's question. I'll move to this one here, and then we will move to phonology. Right. So obstruents, sonorants, this is a distinction that students need to bear in mind. Of course, we have different categories in speech sounds. We said that phonetics describes and classifies speech sounds. So for describes, we are done with it. You know that for consonants, you have to produce 3 adjectives. For vowels, you have to produce 3 adjectives. But also, you can produce these 3 adjectives can come, it can be detailed or so detailed as to be produced in the form of a paragraph. You can describe the process. For example, you can say that the air comes from the lungs and finds and passes through the glottis, where the vocal folds are held tightly together. The air moves through difficulty, thereby making a vibration, hence the voiced nature of this sound, for example. And then you do the same thing for the other places of articulation so that you can produce a paragraph. Most likely in S4, apart from mentioning voiced, voiceless, etc., you will probably be asked, I don't teach the course, but generally people ask these questions. Professors ask this question. They give you one sound to describe fully. If you would like us to have samples of these sounds in another live session so that we can describe them in the form of a paragraph, I would be very glad to have that. Okay, nice. So obstruents, sonorants. I said that in phonetics, apart from the description, there is what we call classification. Sounds belong to some small families. For example, in speech sounds, we have the major split, the first two families of vowels and consonants. In vowels, you have simple vowels, you have diphthongs, you have long vowels, and so forth. These are categories. And in consonants, you have Of course, you have one distinction is between voiced and voiceless, between okay different places of articulation. But some consonants are grouped together because they have one common feature. For example, when you have a sound like okay, n, look at this, n, l, r, w, and then y, and now we have a nasal here. Yes. So this group of sounds, okay, is characterized by being uh, louder than, for example, t and d and th and the, etc. So this group is called sonorants. These are sonorants. Let me clarify this better. Let me, I think this is very important since you have. So I think I need to clean this out and spend some time on this. My friends, the best way of knowing about these distinctions is to assume, especially I'm explaining specifically the term sonorant. Okay, sonorant. So Natalie, you are reading my mind, I guess. So sounds in general, speech sounds in general. Yeah, see, Ham says it's by mistake. Okay, never mind. So speech sounds in general are classified, are ranked, are ordered, or can be, let's say, can be ordered from the loudest to the least loud. The loudest of all sounds is what? Are vowels. Yes or no? They are vowels. There is no louder sound than the vowel. Can you? What is the proof? The proof is that when you want to call someone from a distance who is at a distance, you see, just give me a name. Give me a name. Let's say Mustafa. You see, I imagine I call Mustafa from here to Marrakesh or to Kirija when he comes to the defense. I call Mustafa, whichever language you use, whether you use Moroccan Arabic, Amazigh, French, English, Chinese, I don't know. If you want to call someone at a distance, you mention the name, but you stress and you lengthen the vowel. If I want to call Mustafa, I cannot say Mustafa. No, it's Mustafa. You generally lengthen the vowel. You put stress in the vowel because when you put the stress on the vowel, Mustafa, you lengthen the vowel. It's because you unconsciously know as a native speaker that the vowel is the loudest segment that you have in this word, in the word Mustafa, which is the ah there. Ah is the loudest of all. You put emphasis on it, yes. Okay, so the loudest sounds are the vowels. The vowels first. There is no louder than the vowel. And the one which is least loud, the least loud is what? It's voiceless stop. The voiceless stop. Compare ah with, see? So this is the loudest, this is the least loud. In between, there is an order. That's the point. Okay? So after vowels, I think Natalie said that in a nice way. Okay, I don't know. In one of the comments, I read that, but let's just do it here. Next to vowels are what? Are glides. Are the glides loud? Yes. But they are not as loud as the vowels. Vowels هما اللي ستاج لوحش كما تنقول. Vowels are the loudest ever. Next to this, the next loudest are the glides. And by the way, there is this similarity between vowels and glides. You see, in Moroccan Arabic, just because my students are users of Moroccan Arabic, in Moroccan Arabic you have mia, mia, mia for 100. Just imagine you are talking about money, mia riyal, mia. And if you want to put this mia in the plural, do you say عندي بزاف ديال داك الشقفات ديال المياه the coins do you say that عندي بزاف ديال الميات no عندي بزاف ديال مياوات you insert a w so you have a and then you have w here which means what which means that this is close to the vowel in terms of its identity that's a proof مياوات إلى آخره voilà Natalie is saying مياوات there all right okay so w and I. So let me write them here. So you have و and then you have I. My friends, this is how you write I. As for students. ها كيفاش نكتبوا I. ما كنكتبوهاش هكا. If you write it like this, that's an U, the French U. If you want to say tu in French, tu, toi, tu partiras, etc. That's how you write it. This is a U. And this is a Y. Okay, nice. So, glides are the next loudest, yes or no? After glides, we have what? We have liquids. Liquids. In liquids, we have the famous L and R. Fine? After liquids, we have nasals. They are very loud. You know, we say or n or n. Okay? Very good. So let's just get down. Hard voiceless because we don't have space. Okay? After nasals come voiced stops, voiced fricatives, voiced stops. Voiced, let's say, stops and fricatives. Then you have voiceless fricatives and then voiceless stops. Fricatives and then voiceless stops. Okay? دابا غادي نجاوبو سهام. We will answer her question. Okay? So just remember this order. You don't need to learn it just by common sense because this is every day, you know. Just in terms of if you are asked, you should know how to answer this question. What is the loudest sound? Vowels. بدون نقاش. The next one, the one that is close to it, it's what? It's liquid. I'm sorry, it's glides. I gave you the example of meow meow. Sometimes they can represent, they can represent the vowels. It's like a vice president for vowels. You see? ولكن ما يوصلوش لهذا. Okay, nice. Liquids. علاش جايين مور الglides liquids? Because they also have a similarity. So liquids have a similarity with vowels, and I can give you a proof. See? Liquids, L and R, by the way, for L and R, they have the same origin. Usually it's R comes from L, and this appears in child language acquisition. Okay? Monada, yeah, that's true. But also Karim, it's Kalim, you know, and then before they produce the R sound. Okay, that's evidence. But okay, so I'll answer Kamal's creative corner in a moment. Okay, nice. Look, so the liquids, there is evidence that liquids, just for you to understand, باش تعرفوا باش تعقلوا على لوغدر اللي كاين ديال sonority. هذيك كتسمى sonority scale, une échelle de sonorité. OK, nice. Donc هنا liquids في الفرنسية quand on dit un cheval, le pluriel c'est des chevaux, mais historiquement c'était des chevaux, l. And later on the l sound, you know, because it's close to the vowel, it assimilates to it. No problem. That's why we don't have les cheval, because c'était le cheval à un moment donné, you know, the O, you know, un cheval, les chevaux, the plural was marked on vowels, you see, but the L realizes that the vowel is too strong, and because it's the next sonorous, it swallowed it. That's why we have Okay, that's why we have cheval, chevaux. We have the word almond in English, which is les amandes in French. The A has swallowed the L there. You see? هذا هو evidence. For the R sound, you have evidence from English. It's like never. It's swallowed also never in British English, of course. Why? It's because there is a feeling that liquids are very close to vowels. فميلة واحدة. You understand me now? Why does, for example, English not delete n from moon, for example? It's not moo like that. No. So you see, of course, nasals are also close to liquids because they are sonorous. دابا احنا لحد هو هذا. Okay. What do we have? علاش ما درتش vowels? Vowels خارجين. Vowels لا يعلى عليهم. Vowels are the highest. We're not talking about that. Anyway, that's another family. دابا احنا in the family of consonants. So if you want to know what the sonority, what a sonorant is, what is a sonorant? They are sounds whose sonority, which means whose loudness, is closer to the loudness of vowels than the other sounds. Okay, so we say that we have glides, second loudest. After them we have liquids. After them we have nasals. So these sounds, because they are characterized by a loudness which is higher than the loudness that we have for voiced stops and voiced fricatives. For example, if you have the sound like the and another sound like m is louder than the. You see, and then the. Because n, when you say n, you are engaging not just this part here, but also the nasal cavity. You have more room. When you enter into a room, for example, and where there is no furniture, and you say ah, you will hear a loud noise. But if the room is full of furniture where you can barely move, it means that you have no space. So there is no resonance. You see, the sound does not resonate. So the wider you have, the vocal tract is, the more room you make and the louder the sound is, logically. So when you have a nasal, we have more chances for loudness than when we have just an oral consonant. I hope you understand this. So this group, because they are characterized with, or by, characterized with, a loud noise in comparison with stops and fricatives and also affricates, we call them sonorants. Donc, in other words, a sonorant includes glides, liquids, nasals. هادو كنسميهم sonorants. علاش? Because they are louder than stops and fricatives and affricates. And the rest are called obstruents. The other consonants are called obstruents. This was a very good question from Sihan. Okay, why do we call them liquids? We call them liquids. Sometimes terms are of a known origin, but I checked this because I think in Arabic they are called huruf al-insiyabiyya, I guess, where you have because a liquid, number one, it's subject to quick changes over history. But also, they are called liquids because their consonantal behavior, is not marked with the restriction or their being consonants does not make them, have a clear place of articulation. For example, the liquid. Why do we call it a liquid? In pronouncing a liquid, we have a feeling that it's not like the other consonants because the sound moves from one side. It's like a river flowing. We say l, it moves from one side. But there might be other explanations. People do not really agree on the use of liquids, but these are one of the explanations I have read, in the literature, and people, just ask a research engine, and people will be saying different things about it. All right. A smooth articulation, allowing them to flow easily between vowels and consonants. That's similar. Their similarity, their closeness to vowels makes them like this. And I give you the French example and the English example. But there are people who say other things. They trace them to an unknown origin, carrément. Okay, with a slight up closure of the articulators. Look at Natalie. That's another. You see another way of explaining the liquids. So what in our case, perhaps what we need to know is that we have two liquids in English. In fact, generally there are two liquids, le and re, which historically developed from one, from each other. Not from each other, but one develops from the other, develops from the le sound. All right, I think that we are done with this. Siham, if you feel that I have answered your questions, you just confirm it. If you need further explanation, then I can, take some time to provide you with further clarifications on this issue. All right. Very interesting. Alors, we probably need to move to phonology. Unfortunately, only 17 people are following this live. I don't know whether there are people who are watching us who have not had occasion to subscribe, or is it the fact that phonology is becoming less and less interesting, or are there issues relating to this holy month where people perhaps go to bed so that they can wake up early? I really don't know. But whatever the case, we will continue anyway, because I promised my students to talk about phonology. Okay. Mr. Mohsin is not here because if he were here, we would have probably finished this live session and opened up to discuss sentence structure, but that's going to be for the other time. Now, if you would like me to talk about phonology now, that this is the opportunity. What is phonology? Phonology is, again, a subdiscipline in linguistics whose job is to study speech sounds, as does phonetics, actually. But unlike phonetics, but they differ. Now, phonology differs from phonetics, in terms of the way they study speech sounds. Of course, that the question that comes to mind is, can we do phonology? Yes, Mustafa, some of his questions, but he shows, I appreciated him a lot because he shows that he's so eager to learn more, and that he is surprised to find that there is a professor who probably talks to students in this way and tries to answer their questions. Okay. All right. So I hope you will come back. And I request that you also help him in your comments. I actually exchanged the other day with him, because you were trying to advise him and to inform him. This is really nice. Okay. Nice. Okay. So let's move on, please. So phonology is interested in speech sounds. Phonetics is also interested in speech sounds, but the way they are interested in speech sounds are different. Question: can we do phonology without phonetics? Answer: no, we can't. So we cannot become phonologists. We cannot do exercises in phonology. We cannot understand concepts in phonology if we do not have an adequate amount of knowledge, in phonetics. For example, at least we have to know how to describe consonants and how to describe vowels. This is very important because there is this component in phonology referred to as distinctive features, and most of them are based on the articulatory properties of speech sounds. Okay. Okay. So, in what way does phonology study sounds differently from phonetics? Answer: while phonetics studies sounds in isolation, regardless of the language that these sounds belong to, while phonetics studies basically the physical properties of speech sounds, okay, it just say whether they are white or black or or they are fat or thin or whatever, and they stop there. They cannot, for example, say that they are very important in society. that this has this following job. You understand? It's like when you describe a person, regardless of who he is. You see, he has these types of garments. He's clad in these types of garments. He wears these specific glasses. He has this type of hair, like you're describing Amrus, for example. A phonetic description of Amrus would be perhaps that he is putting glasses, although in the last video I did without glasses, and I regret. Okay. And, he has black hair, perhaps, and he has, this screen behind him so often, and so on and so forth. But you cannot refer to me in terms of the function that I do, for example, as a professor, or as an important or an unimportant, I don't know, member of the society, etc. Okay, so phonetics, it does the same with speech sounds. Okay, not as young as you see me, Si Mustafa. Thank you very much. Anyway, barakallahu fik. All right. Okay. Now, phonology, phonology does not say, does not, is not content, does not focus on the description. It focuses more on the function. Okay. For example, Mr. Amrose teaches students at the university, for example. You understand? And I'm sorry. And you can talk about other functions, but that's the thing in phonology. So speech sounds in phonology are treated based on their functions. Functions in specific languages. Just as Amrose is a member of a given society. A phonetic description of me would be just having glasses, regardless of where you come from. But a phonological description, etc. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you, Natalie. Thank you. You and Si Mustafa and the other friends, of course. I know that your comments come from the heart, and the appreciation that you continue to show to my person and also to the work that we do on the channel is one that emanates, that is genuine, that emanates from the heart. All right. Now, phonology, number one, is concerned with the study of speech sounds in specific languages. Phonetics, no. Number two, phonology focuses on the function of speech sounds. Keep function. What is function of speech sounds? Let me tell you. Okay. Number one, look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Can you, my S4 students, can you give me a word in English where you have this sound? This is the sound, the volar sound that your friend talked about. It's voiceless. And this is the h sound. Now, I challenge you, can you give me a word in English where you have the h sound? Can you give me a word in English where you have the sound? Of course not. Okay. When you say no, Sihem, you are already doing phonology. So be happy. Sihem, you have started becoming a phonologist in saying no. Why? Because phonology, that's what Ikram says, with unfortunately. All right. By the way, a long time ago, English used to have this kh, which developed into y later on, right? Maybe in Old English, there used to be the kh sound, but it's no longer in current English. And phonology is not concerned with the history of a language, but with its current status. So the fact that Siham and our friend here have made the point that kh they cannot find a word in English, it means that this kh is impossible to be a sound in the English language. Okay, is not the sound in the English language. So what does phonology do? One of the jobs of phonology is to say whether a given sound, like belongs or does not belong to a given system. That's phonology, one of the jobs. We say that phonology can answer the question whether a given sound is part of the phonemic inventory. This is technical, all right? The phonemic, we will come to the notion of phoneme. The phonemic. Okay, we will not use phonemic. Let's be pedagogical. Let's not jump the gun. Let's not put the cart before the horse. These are beautiful expressions that you can also learn from me. You see? Okay. Let's say the sound inventory. Sound. حيت هضرنا على الساوند فوني باقي ما قسناش الفوني. Fine. أهلا أسماء. How are you? Comment ça va أسماء؟ لاباس عليك؟ Thank you. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for those gifts in the form of flowers and clubs and smileys. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. So the sound inventory. The sound inventory, l'inventaire des sons of a given language. We talk about the sound inventory. Now, are the following sounds, which of the that's a quick exercise, which of the following sounds are not in the sound inventory of Moroccan Arabic? Let's say. So you have this one here, you have the, you have this one here. You should know it because I talked about it. مشغوليش. Okay. Thank you, Asma. Thank you for joining us. Merci infiniment. Thank you. Okay. This one, and then you have this one here, Moroccan Arabic, the one spoken in the region of Rabat, for example, and you have this as well, this ch and the j. You have a, and then you have a like this. And then you have o. Now, let's work on this quick exercise. Which of the following sounds do not belong to the sound inventory of Moroccan Arabic? Let's say, because there are different versions of Moroccan Arabic, let's say the Moroccan Arabic spoken in Rabat, the region of Rabat, Saleh, Casablanca, Kinitra, this axis of Kinitra, Rabat, Casablanca. Which of these? I need your answers. Or if you cannot, so Natalie says U. Should we keep it or exclude it? We should exclude it. So let's say, does it exist in Arabic? Yes, it does. Okay. You have dkhan, for example. You have the exists. Okay. L, does it exist? Yes, you have al-makla. You have al-makla, and you have la malika. La and the malika. How many L's? So it comes, So this is a proof that it's, that it's a sound inventory. How about U? How about U? U is to be excluded, is out. It does not belong to the sound inventory of Moroccan Arabic. It belongs to the sound inventory of some languages like French and Dutch. You see? Right. In Dutch, for example, if you want to say you, it's informally it's je. But if you want to be formal, you say u. Okay? Nice. Good. Ik wil u uitnodigen means I would like to invite you, all right? But formally. Okay, nice. So this one is out. S in Moroccan Arabic, does it exist or does it not exist? Moroccan Arabic. It does not exist. You don't say نهار الاثنين نتلاقى. Okay? You don't say فتحت الثلاجة. It's ثلاجة, not ثلاجة. So this out in Moroccan Arabic. It's out. Ch, does it exist in the Rabat Saleh Moroccan Arabic? It exists in Moroccan, but not in the region of Rabat Kinitra Saleh. Okay? You understand or no? You don't say chuf, as they say in the north. You say shuf. So this is out for the Moroccan Arabic of But chash, I think that's an isolated word. شوف, let me steer towards a phonological analysis of chash. Chash is a sh. Now, I'm sorry, let me write it here. Sh. Do you know that there is a theoretical question regarding these affricates? Because is this a one sound or is it t plus sh? I think since we have just one word, it's better to treat it this way rather than as a block, unless there is a consistent data. Okay, nice. Ikram, can you have words with ch in the region of Casablanca? It means that an original sh is pronounced as ch. It's like when you move from Casablanca to Tetuan, for example, you are more likely to hear words that are original sh sounds that are pronounced as an African ch. Okay, so it's unlikely in this region, and correct me if I am wrong. How about the word a? By the way, a is a sound that exists in most languages. It's the least marked vowel, okay? So it's a. Do we have a in Moroccan Arabic? Do we have a in Moroccan Arabic, a long vowel a? No, in Moroccan Arabic, we don't have long vowels. In fact, when we have words that are originally long vowels, we shorten them. We shorten them. And this probably comes from the Amazigh language. It's probably an influence of the Amazigh language. Okay? For example, you say, أنا متخصص في دراسة التاريخ. That's standard Arabic. متخصص في دراسة التاريخ. Of course, they don't say دراسة. No, في دراسة التاريخ. But you have to see that there is length. If you were to say this in Moroccan Arabic, هو متخصص في دراسة التاريخ. It means that there is no length here. هو متخصص في دراسة التاريخ. صافي. If you have تونس في تونس, our Tunisian friends, تحية لهم. I don't know whether we have someone here, some Tunisian here with us. But anyway, Tunis, we say Tunis without, it's not Tunis. Libya, it's Libya. You see? So here it means that we don't have length in Moroccan Arabic. So this does not belong to the sound inventory. O, do we have O in Moroccan Arabic? Again, I don't think we have this in Moroccan Arabic. We have O rather than O. All in all, part of what phonology does is, you see, is to tell which sound belongs to this inventory and which sound does not belong. Now we are moving to point 2 in phonology. Now we're yes, but this is more of a supra-segmental. The length is also supra-segmental, but probably it's just in discourse. It's a discoursal feature rather than an inherent feature for Natalie, if you want to make of this as an original sound, we have to find, for example, a minimal pair. We are going to talk about that in a moment, where you have, for example, a set of words with long vowels with another set of words with the same vowel, but shorter ones. Okay, good. But thank you very much. Sometimes vowels can lengthen when we are expressing an emotion. We are expressing you say, but these are non-linguistic factors that contribute to the length. But originally, the vowel like na'am is just na'am, not na'am. Na'am means that there is some emotion, some anger, or I don't know. Okay, good. Now you are saying that, or anger. Nice. Allow me to have a second or a third sip. I don't know. Now let's move on to the discussion of the notion of a phoneme in the English language. I mean, in phonology. All right. In phonology, apart from discussing or apart from being able to tell which speech sounds belong to the inventory of a given language and which speech sounds do not, phonology has another job to do. It's to take speech sounds, for example, and talk about their status, le statut ديالهم, la fonction ديالهم. Okay, good. In case, for example, in someone working on the phonology of English, do we have this sound in English? Yes, we do. Do we have this sound in English? Yes, we do. This is called aspiration, and we say time, not time, it's time, car before stressed vowels. Okay. Do we have this sound in English? Yes, we do. Okay. Do we have this sound in English? For example, yeah, okay. Do we have this sound in English with a small W here showing labialization? Yes, we do. Okay. So I think this is good to illustrate the notion of a phoneme. Okay. Good. Look at what Kamal writes. عاد نزيد انا الا ما قريتوش هذا الشيء اللي كتب لينا كمال كريتيف كورنر ما غاديش نزيد يلا. Thank you very much, C. Kamal. Thank you. It's one way of motivating me probably to continue this journey. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. I was asked by someone whose identity I will not reveal again about how much time does it take me to prepare and to have to broadcast these videos, and I answered him that it takes me as much time as it takes you to move from one private school into another. That's it. Soft. Okay, never mind. All right. But thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for all the nice words that you are mentioning in my favor, despite the fact that we have only 16 people here. ولكن ربما 16 people maybe better than the masses. Okay. So you are quality people watching us. Yes. Now, let's go back to this. الله يحفظك الله يحفظك. شكرا الله يحفظك سي مصطفى. الله يرحمك الوالدين والله يجزيك بخير. Thank you so much. إن شاء الله دعوة مستجابة. بارك الله فيك. دعيوا معايا aussi برحمة الوالدين إن شاء الله, because I lost both my parents and at a young age. They were young and not, especially the mother. She passed away at a relatively young age. All right. Anyway, thank you very much for all the support here. Now let's talk about this. To sum up, phonology. Thank you, Sihan. Thank you. Phonology does the first thing, which is to say which sounds belong to the inventory and which sounds do not belong to the inventory. Okay. Thank you, everyone. بارك الله فيكم. الله يحفظكم. والله يحفظ لكم والديكم واللي والديه توفوا. الله يرحمهم في هذا الشهر المبارك إن شاء الله. Thank you so much. Okay. So let's move on here. So phonology can tell which sound belongs, which sound is out. Okay. Now you know this. The proof is that Siham answered me, when I asked the first question. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you so much. Thank you, Si Morshid. Thank you, Si Mohammed. Thank you, Siham. Thank you, everyone. Now, phonology, apart from this, phonology has another job to do. Look at these sounds here. Look at these sounds here. Do they exist in English? Yes, they do. بلاتي باش نشرح هذا الشيء مزيان. Okay, نزيدوا هذا la fameuse sound. Okay, thank you Ikram, thank you Lala Malik. Okay, Now, let's say that we are phonologists and we have these sounds in English. Of course, we have more, but we just take these as examples. Does this exist? Yes. Does this exist? Yes. Does this exist in English? Yes. Does this exist in English? Yes. Does this exist in English? Oh, no, it does not exist. Donc, هذه out. We have done the first task. هضرنا عليها قبل. When we do this, we move on. نكملوا. هذا الشيء كاين في l'anglais? Yes. For example, you have time. Meet. Does it exist in English? Yes, because we have time. هذا الشيء كيسموه aspiration غادي نشرحه لكم my dear S4 students. Je sais pas si vous avez fait ça en classe, mais I'm sure you did it, because it's a good illustration of what we're going to talk about. Does it exist in English? Yes. For example, you have think. I think. This is th. Do we have th, which is labialized? A detailed description of number 3 will show that we are pursing the lips. It's not 3, number 3. Do you speak like this, number 3? It's number 3. 3. So there is this pursing of your lips. There is this rounding of the lips, which means that th here is labialized. Just as when you say the verb to, when you pronounce t, you round the lips because you anticipate u, which is rounded. So anyway, these exist in English. متفقين ولا ما متفقينش؟ متفقين. Okay, now, is this sound a real sound or is it a derivation of another sound? You see, let's see. قبل ما نحطوا لي مو technique. Thank you, سي كمال. Thank you. Okay. Is this an original sound? Or is it or does it derive from another sound? I would say that this is an original sound. أقول لكم علاش. For example, how do you know that it's an original sound? For example, when you have a word like time, okay, and then you have the word line. All right, I have time, line. These two words are identical except for one sound. You have I'm here, you have I'm here. The difference is that we have t and l. It means what? It means that when you take l and put t in its place, the meaning will change. Obviously. You understand? So you will have line, but you will have another meaning by substituting the word. Another example with this is when you have this meat. We are talking about and then you have me, and then you have a space here. So I can fill this with n, me, n. If I take this mean, the verb to mean, or mean the adjective, I take n and I put t instead. I will obtain another meaning, yes or no? So the conclusion is that since this sound t, okay, can or is able to change meaning when it replaces another sound, it means that this is an original sound in English. متفقين ولا ما متفقينش؟ متفقين. منكم تتفقوا باسكو this is the easiest way of explaining it. Okay, nice. So we have this situation. Now let's talk about the t sound. All right. T, okay, if you pronounce t in time and pronounce, okay, time. Can you, okay, so this one here, is it aspirated? Yes, because we say time with a small h here, time. Imagine I have something like this. This time I replace this time with a simple t. My question is, if I replace this t with this t, will there be any change in meaning? Answer, no, there will not be change in meaning. For example, we don't have a word which is called time and another word which is called time. ماشي بحال time مع lime ولا meet مع mean. Here we have a change in meaning. Here we don't have a change in meaning. We have probably a deviation. We have a mistake in pronunciation. There is no problem. But what is important is that changing t for t is not, okay, will not contribute to the change of meaning. Okay. No, I'm afraid, Si Mustafa, it's not free variation yet because this can be predicted by a rule. We'll talk about these things just for pedagogical reasons. I am introducing a notion. As you can see, I have not talked about technical terms yet. Okay, so it's really it's probably worth going on a step-by-step basis. Wait a minute. واش فاهمين هذا الشيء؟ فاهمين باللي quand on replace le T avec le petit H مع un T اللي ما عندوش ال H. Okay? Time versus time. Est-ce que je change le sens؟ واش كنغير المعنى؟ non ما كنغيرش المعنى. ولكن إلا بدلت time مع line هنا راه المعنى كيتبدل. Yes or no؟ دونك هنا ممكن نقولوا باللي هذه مشتقة من هذه. الاصل هي هذه. علاش؟ لان هذه تقدر تشونجي المعنى الا بدلناها بشي صوت اخر. مي هنا لا، الا بدلناها بوقتها بهذه لا. فوالا. اوكي، دابا غادي نمشيو لو بروميير term that my friends Mustafa and Natalie and other friends have talked about. Okay, nice. Let's use this meet with mean. Meet means X, means something, ولكن mean ما يمكنش تقول لي تكون X، تكون Y for example, pour montrer que c'est différent. So substituting T for N results in the change of meaning. ولكن substituting T for T does not result in the change of meaning. Okay. Also, you have need and meat, and you can produce a lot of them, of course. Meal also, yes. Mean, you can have meal. You have mere also, even if it's not written the same. By the way, it does not need to be written in the same way, but we count its pronunciation. I have chosen these words just not to confuse you. Okay. So, my friends, in phonology, we decide whether a sound is original or not original, whether a sound is important or not important, whether a sound has a function or does not have a function. We say that T has a function. شنو هي function? Function هي the capacity or the ability to change meaning. Does this have that capacity of changing the meaning? No. So it does not have a function to play there. It's just a variant of this. We'll talk about this later on. Okay, so we refer, so because a sound is able to change meaning when it replaces another sound in the same word, we call this a phoneme. Okay, هذا سميتو phoneme. ها هو phoneme. A phoneme. So what is a phoneme? A phoneme is a speech sound whose function or that has the capacity of changing the meaning of a word when it replaces another sound. It means when you have two identical words, word 1 and word 2, they are the same except in one segment, one consonant or one vowel. It can be also a vowel. Alhamdulillah. Meaning changing one sound for another or with another results in the change of meaning. And those two sounds are called phonemes. علاش? Because they are enough to make one word which means this, meaning the other. Distinct unit. أهلا أميمة. أهلا وسهلا. Now I am sure of, I will not call you Umayma, I will call you Dr. Umayma. who has produced an excellent thesis. I had the good fortune of taking part in her thesis defense. I liked your beautiful accent, your British accent specifically. I liked that so much. I also liked your being well behaved and you see well brought up, and you know, she's such an educated lady. I wish you all the best in your career, Umayma. Thank you very much for being with us and for, you know, taking part in this discussion. Of course, these are called also, as Umayma says, distinct sounds. They are distinct because you see just one of them, you know, one sound which is different in pronunciation, you know, from the other sound. When it replaces it, you obtain a completely new word. And these are referred to as phonemes. So can we say that T is a phoneme in English? Asi Said, you were there with us. Oh yeah, Murshid, yeah, was there. Si Mustafa was there. Yeah, it was a very good opportunity to meet you also. Si Murshid, Si Said, yeah, you attended it about stuttering. That's true. It was about stuttering. It was a very interesting piece of work, of course. Okay, so here we're talking about the notion of a phoneme. So if someone asks you the question, what is a phoneme? It's a phoneme is a speech element or a speech sound that has the capacity of producing a meaning. How can it produce a meaning? By, for example, what's the test? The test is to have two words that are identical except in one sound. Changing one sound, when you swap, when you change one sound for another, you have another meaning. It's the capacity to produce another, you know, meaning through, of course, you know, distinctiveness. We say that phonemes have this capacity of being distinctive and contrastive. Okay, distinctive because you know, they make, you know, one word distinct. They are enough to produce a distinct meaning. Okay, that's the function of a phoneme. Okay, now how do we, as linguists, for example, proceed to the establishment of the phonemic inventory of a given language? Just imagine we want to know about the status of T. You know, one way is to look for words where T occurs and look for the same words where instead of having T, we have N, for example. Okay, so this is a test which is technically, as someone said, I think it was Si Mustafa, it's called the minimal pair test. Okay, so meet and mean, can we call them a minimal pair? Minimal pair, let's say minimal. شوف كيفاش كتبت minimal. The M فيها شي خمسة. Minimal pair. The minimal pair. What is a minimal pair? Very quickly. A minimal pair is a test to detect or to discover phonemes. A minimal pair, a minimal pair is a couple of words. That's why we call it a pair. A couple of words that are identical except in one sound. And that difference of a sound results in the change of a meaning. Okay? So here, is this a minimal pair? Yes. Let me فرجونا يلا زيدوا قولوا لنا provide us with minimal pairs in English or in Moroccan Arabic or whatever so that we can write them here. يلا. Tell us. تحيفونا يلا. You cannot. You are tired, it seems. Or is it a problem of connection or whatever? Yes, the hope of a phonologist is to find the minimal pair. Cat and hat. Okay, let's try. Cat and hat. Cat and hat. Let's write cat. شوف دابا we are doing phonology. نشوفوا هكا. It's cat and hat. As you can see, we have identical words except for the initial sound. Since this gives us meaning X and this gives us meaning Y, we conclude that K and H are separate phonemes. And cat and hat are a minimal pair. a minimal pair. So this is called the minimal pair test. But and bat, that's a very important example, see Mustafa, just not to give the impression that we are just we care about consonants. I'll take your I take your example, see Mustafa. You look, you have but something like this, and then you have bat. What is the difference between the two words? In the first word, you have this vowel. In the second one, you have the other vowel. The rest of sounds are the same. Now, that's the first criterion. So, first criterion to call a minimal pair a minimal pair is that the words have to be identical except for one. One, إلا كانوا جوج, no, just one. Do we have that situation here? Yes. Criterion number two. ولا condition number two is that we have meaning X here, meaning Y here. I use X and Y to show that they are different. إذا عندي X هنا و X هنا, it's not a minimal pair. We will talk about that. Okay? So please understand that we have talked about the notion of a phoneme, and you know it. It's the capacity of changing the meaning. And how can they change the meaning? By means of a well-known test that is known as the minimal pair test. Okay? Look at this. Just another term, and then we will move on. Just to see. So we have ktib. Ktib. Oh, that's true. Natalie. we have Babat and ktib ktib. You have that by Saeed as well. Sikamal team and beam. Dar. Dar emphatic. Dar. Wait a minute. Wait. I don't think that one of them is emphatic, because in Moroccan Arabic there is what we refer to as emphasis spreading. Okay, la propagation de l'emphase, which spreads to nearby, to the whole syllable. Il fait quand même ce qu'on appelle la tache d'huile. Okay, the process exists in Semitic languages, Amazigh in Arabic, and okay, so we can come back to this issue. But for dar la maison, and dar, I don't think there is a difference in their pronunciation. That's more of a polysemy than anything, you know. So we will talk about that, Sisaid, later on, perhaps. Okay, so Umayma says vine and fine, very interesting. Vine and fine. So we have ein, but the first sound of ein is vine, which gives us one meaning, and fine, that's another meaning. Now let's consider something like, okay, fat, okay, bat, and then we have that. Okay, Siham, you are right, yes. Sauf que même wait a minute. Yes. Okay, my friends. Okay, wait a minute. Here, I think in examples like these, if you allow me, Said, in doing phonology, it's better to compare words that are, that correspond to individual lexical items, because there, I think that that there is an issue with the prodrop parameter. It's a worry, it's a personal worry, because there is an embedded subject there. So it's better to compare, especially from the same category. That's ideal. If you are comparing nouns, that's ideal. Okay, but there is no harm if you compare, a noun with an adjective, as long as they give you a different meaning. But for words that are, that include particles that are invisible or inflections, you cannot compare them with words that are. So probably it's better to choose what we call the citation form. That verb is conjugate. I really have reservations about that. All right. So let's move on to the fat, bat, and then you have cat, and you have that, the demonstrative. That. I'm sorry, sometimes I use this. Anyway, look at this. That, fat, that, cat. All these words are identical except for one consonant. So, do we have a minimal pair here? No, we don't have a minimal pair. And Mustafa and Saeed rightly point to the notion of the minimal set. شنو هي minimal set? Very easily, a minimal set is just like a minimal pair. ولكن in a minimal pair we have just two. In a minimal set you have more. Okay, good. So this is the basic, ideas relating to phonology and for what phonology does. Another thing that's point three. So we talked about the inventory of sounds. We talked about the function of those sounds through the minimal pair test. Okay, so we produced phonemes. We talked about now the notion of a phoneme. Just imagine, and then just imagine we have something like this. We have the word minimal pair. No, sure. Minimal pair is not written like that, Siham. That's for Borweed. Okay, you mean pair, Hakka. Okay, pair, like this. Very good, very good. It was just a mistake. It was not an error. Okay, minimal pair. So minimal pair exists just in two words. That's absolutely right, Siham. After all, إلا عندي أي حاجة فيها a pair of shoes, not the set of shoes because we have 2 feet. Okay, so you see, the pair means two. When you have two words, it's a minimal pair, and it's called minimal because that's enough for us to claim that a sound is a phoneme or not a phoneme. But when you are able to produce more words that look similar except for one, that's a minimal set, of course. Yes, pair instead of which this semester? I'm afraid I cannot get the point there, Ikram. Did you miss something there? So you studied just pair this semester? That's fine. If your professor covers with you pair, that's fine. I'm just but anyway, that's not really costly. Intellectually speaking. شوف يا سهام, it's not with your keyboard. You remember the famous word there. Okay. No, I'm just joking. It's fine. It's fine. The near minimal pair, yeah, but they are not really reliable. For near minimal pairs, they may not be as reliable, Si Mustafa, especially when you try to establish the phonemic inventory of a language. And sometimes when you have a data set and you have the near minimal pair, sometimes the answer is not really a valid answer because you will count it more of an exception than a near minimal pair. Okay. Gosh, is talking. Okay. Pair is. All right. Now I got Ikram. She is picking on you, right? No, but you did very well in S3, and I wish you all the best in S4. So we all have these fossilized problems that we managed to suppress through maybe practice, and you did that very successfully. And I tested you on this. I tested you if you remember, on your first appearance in the room, the classroom. I asked you to write the word which in the hearing of your classmates, I remember. But it was more it's one way of welcoming you into my class, Siham, into the classroom. Okay, nice. So minimal pair, we have two. Minimal set, we have more than two. Safin, done. Now let's just imagine that we have something like, what is the word for heart in Moroccan Arabic? It's something like this. قلب. But if I come and call it like this, okay, قلب. Okay, like this, I have what appears to be a minimal pair, but do we have X and Y, or do we have just X and X here? We have the same. If it's here Y, this is also a Y. It refers to the same thing, except that this is dialectal. In Hassaniya al-Qalb, very good, yes. But also in some regions in the East, Okay, like وجدة, for example, I don't know if you listen to Ray music. Some of the musicians there are using the word قلب instead of القلب. But since the change of ق for g does not result in the change of meaning, we cannot say that ق and g in this context they are not they are not independent phonemes. They are not independent phonemes, because if they were independent phonemes, apart from this situation where they are able to change, they have to produce different meanings, like fat and cat. In fat and cat, we have changed this once f for k, and we have produced a different and independent phoneme. But for qalb and qalb, no. Okay, very interesting. Nice. So we say that q and g in this example are not independent phonemes. They are in free variation. And my friends mentioned that, Natalie and Mustafa and Saeed, they talked about free variation. We say that q and g are in free variation. اشنو كيخلي الساوندز ان فري فاريشن؟ باش ما نثقلش عليكم، الساوندز كيكونوا فري فاريشن فاش كيكونوا في موضع واحد، مثلا قلب كلب، قلب and كلب. شي قلب and كلب, yes, they are a minimal pair because we have the heart and we have the dog. But we have قلب and قلب. ق and g here are not, you see, a minimal pair because they don't change the meaning. The reference is to the heart in both ways. All right. So Mustafa, قراية, قراية. That's in Hassaniya. Yes or no? حق بعد. See Mustafa. They say الله يحسن عليك. I have very good memories with my friends from العيون and from Dakhla, who taught me some words in Hassaniya and who make me taste the gufya. Okay. It's really it was a pleasure, to interact with them. Thank you very much. Okay, so here we are talking about free variation. Okay, now let's summarize. We have talked about phonetics and its job with sounds. We talked about the different branches of phonetics. I think you need to know this because there might be a question. Yeah, Gufia. Gufia is really... and I was given, what's that? Diraya or whatever. I have it here. One day I can come live with it, okay? I just don't... Shall I tell you? I don't know how to wear it, honestly, because there is a special technique for it, okay? I was offered it in Laayoune way back in 2019, I guess, because I attended an international conference there, and it was really amazing how welcoming, our friends there are. Dra, yes, that's true. Okay, so let's move on. So I was summarizing these branches of phonetics. We have articulatory phonetics, acoustic phonetics, auditory phonetics. What we basically do predominantly in the country, in different universities, is more articulatory phonetics. And despite the fact that we have friends, we have colleagues who are interested in doing acoustic and also auditory phonetics. We moved on to the discussion of phonology, and we defined it as being a branch in linguistics that is also concerned with speech sounds, except that the way they deal with the sounds is different. In what way is it different? Because they, unlike phonetics, they do not, in phonology, the phonologist does not deal with the physical properties of speech sounds, but rather with their function. This is what we have seen here. We have given examples of sounds, assuming different functions. That's why we have the property of distinctiveness. A phoneme is a speech sound that has the capacity of changing the meaning, and linguists need to go about discovering these properties of sounds by making use of the famous minimal pair test. What is a minimal pair test? A minimal pair test is the fact of looking for minimal pairs. What is a minimal pair? A minimal pair are two words actually that are identical except in one sound, with the condition that the changing of the sound results in the change of meaning. Now, if we have a minimal pair but we have still the same meaning, we talk about free variation instead of an independent phoneme. My dear friends, I think that we will differ, ça s'écrit comme ça. Learn this word if you have not learned it. Look at this, differ. شوف كيف هيكتب differ. We have to defer the discussion of the second part to tomorrow because we have 2 hours that have elapsed. No. That's no. That's defer. We will defer the discussion. It means to postpone the discussion for tomorrow because we have consumed 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I start to feel somehow tired, despite the sips of coffee and of water. But it's fine. It has been a pleasure interacting with you, and I'm very happy that that the reactions from you, and from the students who requested me to talk about this issue today, have the reactions have been positive. I'm very happy. So I promise I will go live again tomorrow, inshallah, to discuss the other concepts, especially the concept of allophony and what distinction between a phone and allophone, and the notion of complementary distribution. And probably I will think up some data to analyze together here. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And perhaps we will meet, inshallah, tomorrow. Thank you, Siham. Greetings to your mom. Thank you very much. Si Saeed, we will cover complementary distribution. Natalie Leblanc, thank you. Lila Malika, inshallah. شوفوا, the people who are watching me here, you need to hit the like button on YouTube and insert a comment, not just this comment. After the video is saved, go and place a comment because the algorithm of YouTube, the YouTube channel promotes, okay, the video to, it makes it seen by other people when there are enough comments because it realizes that there are, people who are interested. But when you leave it just like that, it means that you are the only ones who are what you are not helping the channel anyway. You don't need to say words of you don't need to throw flowers at me. Just say thank you or any other word. Be short, just to show that this is an interest, and accompany that with a click or a hit on the like button, and life will be good. Okay, so let's meet tomorrow, inshallah, and we will finish the second part. Just in case we have, yeah, I'm very grateful. I have always wondered why it's just Mustafa and Natalie who are leaving these comments. You see, yeah, it doesn't harm. Just write something there, and if you find it interesting, of course. Otherwise, do what the other people do. Just withhold your comments and okay, and abstain. شوفوا تعلموا لي هذه عاوتاني. Abstain from commenting. Abstain. Abstain or withhold a comment, or abstain from commenting. Abstain. Look at how I write abstain from. Abstain means withhold, don't comment. Ikram writes, thank you so much, dear professor, for this incredible live session. I hope it has been of yours. Thank you. I hope you have learned something from it. You have truly a gift for making complex topics easier. I always say life is complicated outside, so we should not make it even more complicated. Thank you so much, Ikram, for these comments. Sofiane, thank you. Natalie, thank you. So she's thanking Simurshid, who deserves to be thanked. Okay, so help with the likes, and of course with the comments and with the sharing of this channel with the students who you think can be interested in these things. Thank you. She's using loudly and proudly the way I say it in class. Thank you very much, Ikram. Thank you, Asma, and thank you, everyone. I wish you a good rest of the night, and see good appetite with your sahur, and a good rest of this happy month. Thank you once again, and let's meet tomorrow, inshallah. Bye bye, everyone.